Namaskar. Welcome to Ancient Wisdom. In England, in particular, and in Europe in general, for a long time, till almost the 19th century, farmers were always an exploited lot. The reason is the big land and every year give excruciatingly big rain to the landowner. The landowner would become richer and richer, whereas the farmer would actually keep becoming poorer and poorer. In fact, in England, the definition of rich was the one who doesn't have to work. Everybody else had to work. Now, why were people doing all this work, so much hard work, when the returns were pitiful? Because from the economist came the theory of marginal returns. And this theory all across Europe was widely advertised and pushed down the throats of gullible people. Excellent example how a concept wrongly explained is gobbled up by general public and they continue to remain mesmerized you are working more or less. But as you go along, as you get expertise in what you are doing, slowly and steadily this equation of work versus returns is going to change. Today the returns are low, work is high. Slowly the returns will start rising, and because you are becoming expert in that, the work will continue to reduce. That means if you have a chart of your work against the return in the initial period, the chart would also as compared to the hard work that you put in. But slowly it will reach the nadir, that is the lowest point, where your efforts would be equal would start to rise. That means with less efforts you will start getting more returns, returns which are not really proportional to your hard work, and that is the golden period which would ensue, and you need to work for that. This was the promise of the future, and people worked hard, worked hard, worked hard and long, but this situation never occurred. The reason is a fallacy in the original concept itself. The marginal curve never rose, it never went upwards, it always kept on going down, because the assumption here was that everybody involved, the landlord, the farmer, And this understanding continued even through the factory era, that is the industrialization era. Nobody asked this question, and nobody asked this question, that why should the landlord continue to do farming on his land when the returns were lower than the work that was put in. So he would start, say initially he was getting 1 lakh rupees and he was giving, or his output of money was say 40 lakh, 40,000, 60,000 rupees profit. The idea in these marginal return curves would be that this 60,000 profit would continue to decrease year by year, and a point would come where it equals to run a loss making enterprise for time immemorial. And this is exactly what happened. When the returns from the land reduced, the landlords started finding different applications for their own land. The factory owners, the moment they realized that they are not getting enough profit that they want to, they diversified into other businesses. And again, because it was the entry point into those businesses, the wages were low. And this was why the marginal return curves continued to go down and down and down, and they never rose. And this was realized almost in the beginning of the 20th century, that these curves are never going to rise. And this was the reason why certain countries put up a condition on businesses that the business cannot stop just because it is not making profit. But till then this realization occurred, 2000 years had gone by. And only when somebody started questioning these assumptions behind the question or behind the theory, was there a need to push for a change. This is the interesting part and importance of ancient wisdom and asking questions. In India, asking questions has always been encouraged in ancient wisdom. And one needs to ask question and question the assumptions. And again, go back to the theory and see whether the theory is fitting the assumptions, or do the assumptions hold true as of today as they did at some time in history. Only then a change and growth can be achieved. So this is the reason why marginal return curve never rose. Namaskar.